What's up, YouTube? This is your boy D coming right back at you with another tutorial. In this tutorial, what we're going to be discussing is how to spot a quality or how to shop for a quality subwoofer while on a budget. Okay, this is what we're doing. We're trying to find something of quality for cheap, basically. And I have three subwoofers down here. This is the IX8 by Skar Audio. Of course, you can see that's an 8-inch subwoofer. This is the Lanzar Vibe by Lanzar, of course, and this is the Power Acoustik Gothic Series 12 right here, which I got from Walmart. Actually, this came off the internet, straight from the company. No, this came from eBay actually. Walmart, eBay. So all of these subs were under $100. Unsurprisingly, the 8-inch, you can find a lot of 8 inches under $100. That's not a big issue, but getting two 12s that sound decent under $100 sometimes can be somewhat challenging. But I consider this one in particular, Diamond in the Rough. I've had this subwoofer here going on 7 years now, and I'm gonna give you a slight story behind it once I get off into it. But as of right now, we're going to get off into the specs of things. Alright, so these are my three spec sheets right here. The sheet on the left is the one for the Skar Audio IX8, and let me turn this around. The one on the left is for the Skar Audio IX8. It's a dual 2 ohms, and the one on the right, you have an upper table and you have a lower table giving the specs of. This is the Lanzar Vibe, and this is the Power Acoustik Gothic that I have. So I would suggest to anyone getting in the game and trying to get out and spend your hard-earned money on an audio system, man, please get off into the numbers behind the subwoofer. Do not, and I do not, I'm not knocking any name brand. Okay, let's get that out of the way. None of these companies, Power Acoustik, Skar Audio, the Lanzar Vibe, they don't even know I exist. Okay, so no, they're not sponsoring me. No one paid me to say this. I purchased these things with my own money. So let's just get that out of the way. I'm not knocking a brand, okay? But what I am knocking is guys, some individuals that would make you think that you need to spend $1,000 on a woofer in order to have your system sound good. That is just not true. If you can find a woofer that got the specification that you're looking for at a good price, I say go and do it. Okay, so right now we're looking at the spec sheet for the Skar Audio IX8, and I want to point out 3 different things about the spec sheet of this particular subwoofer. Okay, for one, you need to know how many voice cords you got. This is a dual, so that means it has 2 voice cords, and each voice cord is at 2 ohms. Another thing to really keep in mind is that your subwoofer need to match your amplifier. So make sure that your amplifier is 2 ohm, 4 ohm, 1 ohm, or a half ohm stable. Whatever the case may be, match your subwoofers to whatever that your amplifier is rated at. That's in terms of, for one, voice cord configuration, and 2, RMS rating, and 3 is frequency response rating. Please be very careful about that, because you get a speaker like this, which is rated free air resonance frequency at 48 hertz. That is what most would consider that is tuned pretty high. It's on the high side. Don't get this and think you're gonna be dropping all the lows on all the popular bass songs out there, like you're gonna be hitting all the lows like 30 hertz and 26 hertz or whatever the case may be. Anything below, I would say 45 hertz at this point for this subwoofer, unless you build a box, an enclosure that that can manipulate this figure right here, then don't go talking bad about the speaker. You need to know going in that this speaker is not a low frequency playing speaker. Okay, that means that you would have to build an enclosure around how highly tuned that this speaker is. 50 hertz is kind of up there. Now don't get me wrong, I think if like let's say for instance hip hop have a lot of heavy bass notes. I think average frequency range for hip hop is in between 40 and 60 hertz. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But you have a whole new age, man, of bass heads out there that like to get way lower than 40 and 60 hertz. They want to be more so in the mid to lower 30 hertz. And in order to achieve that, either you're gonna have to have a speaker or a woofer that's already rated at that, or you're gonna have to build a damn good enclosure. So please keep this number right here in mind. Okay, actually this number is not even really the number that you want to manipulate or pay too much attention to, but the F3 is really what you want. But that's a whole nother story. But just, you know, on the box when you're reading or doing your research, please look at this number right here. It's very, very important. Okay, and of course all these other numbers are as well, but just these three things for right now: frequency, free air response, the RMS power, and the voice core configuration is very, very important. Let's move on and look at what the other, and this is for the like I said, the Skar audio. This is the 8-inch subwoofer. So let's move on. All right, so let's get back to the spec sheet here. And like I said, this is for the 8-inch that we just got finished talking about. And we're just going to focus right now on this. The last stat that I talked about over here was the FS, the frequency, the free air resonance of this speaker right here, which is 48 hertz, right at 50 hertz. We're just going to keep it at 50 hertz. So now we're going to move over to the Lanzar Vibe right here, and this is the 12 right here, and it has a free air frequency free air frequency of 40 hertz. 40 hertz. So it's about 8 hertz lower. I'm gonna say it's only 8 hertz lower than the 8-inch woofer. No, that's another misconception is that people make, is that just because, you know, a subwoofer is bigger, that it will hit harder and lower than a smaller subwoofer, being a 10 or an 8. But as you can see in this case already, in my opinion, the 8-inch woofer is the better buy. And to keep it in all fairness, price wise, these are the same price. I paid in 2011, 2010, 2011, I paid for this speaker around $50, and this speaker right here was around $40. To be honest with you, so this speaker is way cheaper. So I'm just gonna say that they're, but price, I'm gonna get off the price. I hate that I even mentioned that. Price is not really what we're discussing right now, okay? But we're talking quality. So let's get back to the specs. All right, so that's for the Lanzar Vibe. That the frequency response is 40 hertz. Okay. Let's go down here to the Gothic series. This is for the Power Acoustik, and of course we're talking about the 12. And look at that, 34 for the frequency response. And this is free air, people. Just keep that in mind. This is not talking about within an enclosure. This is talking about just free air resonance, okay? So take it out of the enclosure. This is what it'll perform at in terms of hertz, okay? So why is this number important? This number is important because you can take this number and build you an enclosure around it. You can go a little bit above this or you can go a little bit below this and get a nice sounding system, depending on what it is you're trying to get out of the system. If you're trying to hit lows, if you want to get within that, you know, like I was saying earlier, that upper or mid 20 to lower 30 hertz response rating frequency, if you want to hit those lows, then you need to start out with a speaker that got an FS of this right here. And this would be, again, like I was saying earlier, this is the Power Acoustik Gothic woofer. Okay.